Welcome back. Today is episode 26 of our Factorio playthrough. This is Nerd Dad, and it is Kovarex Enrichment Process Day. And we have a bunch of 235 waiting to be enriched. We have a bunch of 238 waiting to be enriched. Let's enrich it. Okay, so let's start thinking about what this should look like. And I'm going to battle a little bit with this, so you're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to have to do some logic on the fly. I want to think through what this might look like. I think let's give ourselves a little breathing room here. Okay, so there's our first centrifuge. It needs some goodies. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to actually pre-fill this with some 235. So why don't we just grab 40 235 and start our little process here. Let's come down here. See if we can get, oh, we got 41. That's not perfect, but close enough. Okay, we'll just drop 40 in there. And we'll just put out. Oh, come on. Be like that. Okay, so we got 40 sitting in there. It's ready to process, but how's it going to work? Well, it's a great question. Is it going to work? I don't know. Let's figure it out. That should be our outbound. Let's have an inbound, something like this. Alright, so when I say outbound, what I mean is this is where we will send out the 238. So we're going to say 238, it's got to come out. Because when we do this process, let's just take a quick look at it. For those who may not know, it takes 40 uranium 235, but you get 41 back. So basically what you're doing is you're taking the 5 uranium 238, you're converting 3 of those into a 235. But you need the 40 to keep doing it. So you basically want to recycle 40 over and over again and just keep pulling the one off extra that you get and do other things with that one extra. Basically what it means is you've got to keep kind of filling these over and over again with 40. But what I like to do is I just recycle the same 40, just keep it going. It doesn't have to be a new, just keep recycling it. And then you got to get rid of the extra 238, so I just kind of push those back into the system, and the next ones down the line can pick it up if they require it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is our 238 out, and this is our 238 in. Well, how do we know it's 238 in? Well, it's going to be a line kind of like this. And I just got to get my spacing quite right here. We're going to want 235 to come out. Just want to think about where. Box. Probably there. Alright, so this is going to be 235 output. Now let's put a power pole. Probably need some power poles here. Get a few of those, and we'll just put some power right there. Just say stop blinking and we can see what's going on. So our 235 is going to come out here, our 238 is going to come out here, and our 235 is going to come out, and it's going to go into a box, and we're going to do some counting on this box so that we can do different things. And so the first thing we want to do is we're going to put down this blue inserter here. Now let's just get this line going a little bit further now, and we're going to put logic from this box. And we're going to put some logic wire in here. We're going to say, okay, when this logic box reaches 41, we only want to pull 1 off. If we pull 2 off, then we'd have 39 left and the whole thing would break. So you make sure you hit your override stack size or it doesn't work. Okay, so once this hits 41, it's going to pull 1 off. So we're going to say 23 equals 41. It's one of these times I actually use the equals. I don't use it too often. Equals 41. There we go. That equals 41, we're going to just throw 1 over there. Well, the problem is as you offload your 235, the next part of this box is going to just start unloading it this way. It's going to just start, because we're going to need to reload it, right? There's kind of a few ways we can do this. We can do it with just inserter and inserter. I like just running sort of a little bit of a... I was going to say I like running just a little thing. I'm going to try something different this time. We're going to do different things today. We're actually going to put it into another box. We don't need a box. We'll just put it on the ground. We'll just put it on the ground and let it get dirty. We're just going to put it there and then just have it picked back up and thrown back in there. And that should work just fine because the output is not the same as the input. So the output will end up here. The input will be loading there. So it's got different counters, which is great. Okay. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to have this offloading here and this taking it all and just reloading it there because we never get to 41. So what we do is I put a little counting unit. Now some people probably could do this with the logistical wires and things. I'll just admit I can't do it. It's too much for my head. My head implodes when I think about it. So I do something like this. And actually, if I do have to do... Oh, I can do it over here. I was changing my mind again. We're making this smaller than I usually do. I'm kind of changing my pattern from the last time I've done this. We'll just do something like this and like that. You can see I'm just kind of making a little circle here. And what we're going to do is just put some logic on there. Unfortunately, I just can't. That'll actually work really nicely. Okay, I like that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to throw a thing there, and we're going to throw a... actually, we don't even need one there. We're just going to put this right back to the main track. Okay. So, right. I was just thinking out loudly. Okay, so let's get back into what am I doing here. Okay, so we have the 41 coming into here, but the issue is we don't want them offloading, so we need to put a counter in. This is what I do, is I put a little countering system in here, and I just need one piece of 238. Let me grab a piece right there. And we're going to put a piece of this... Stop it. I'm going to have to stop it for a second. I got too many in there. Alright. And I'm just going to turn that one for now, just until we get this sorted out. So what I like to do is, what I say is, I wait until the 41 gets here, but to do that, I've got to make this wait until something happens. So what I do is, I put a little bit more logic on this, and I just change this logic wire. Same as this logic wire when this one equals 41. Whoops. I'm just going to copy and paste that. So both of these are when the 235 equals 41. They both activate. What happens is this one quickly pulls one off, and this one pulls this one forward. So we can actually turn this back now. And it won't happen until 41 work their way out here. So what we then can do is we can say, well, hang on. If we move a network wire from there to there, we can say, don't offload this box until we get a piece of 238 in here. So we say, we don't need to override stack, we just need 238 has to equal 1. So this arm will not activate until we actually move this 238 into here. Well, that's great. So we'd have the 238 in here, but we need to get that 238 out of here. We don't want it to automatically just go, because then this would stop working. So then what we do is we throw some logic wire, yes, on from here, and we say, you know what? This is when 235 equals 0, you can activate and push it forward. Now right now it's 0, but the moment we start offloading the 235 from here to here, this stops this from moving forward. So basically what happens is we've stopped both of these inserters from working the moment a piece of 235 works its way in here. And both of them can't do anything until this moves here. And once this moves from here to here, and it will only move from here to here when this gets to 41, then this arm can start moving it forward, and this arm will move it all forward, and that works really well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kick this baby up, and we're going to take a look and watch how it works out. Now, to get this thing to work, we're going to need to hook up the rest of this. So, I'm glad we did what we did there. The other thing I want to do is I want to be a little cautious so I don't overfill this line, but we're going to worry about that in a little bit here. So we're just going to throw some 238 on there. And the final piece to our puzzle is we need this right here. You know what? Let's we're going to make this a little bit shorter here. We're going to bring this up, make it just give us a bit more space. We're trying to make this crushed in here because I'm not sure how many I can get in, and I want to make it as tight as possible. So we're just going to do something like that. And there, and then we're going to put the splitter right there, and then we're just going to put a, can you please pick up only 238 for us there. Alright, and once we get our 10 in here, or a 5, there we go, we can see it starting to work. It's going to take about a minute, and what will happen here is this will just kind of backlog this. Now the other thing we're going to want to worry about is you can see that I got all this 238 coming down here. If we start feeding this line's going to be full of 238. We don't want to have that. So we're going to start putting some logic back on here to stop this line from getting more than it needs. But we're going to have to figure out how many of these centrifuges we're going to fit along here. I want about 20 of them. I've got 19. I'd like to get 20. I don't know whether I can fit them 4. If I can fit them 4 deep and we can go 5 across, it'll be a perfect box. I don't think I can get it to fit those, so it's going to be close. So how are we doing here? We're getting closer. Why don't we just take a blueprint of this while we're waiting, and we can start just doing a little bit of measurement here and just take a quick look. We'll just grab that like that, and we would be able to do, there's 2. Yeah, I know you're going to build 3, 4, and there's 5. So there's the 5 wide. It easily fits. And then we're going to need to do something like this. Be 1. And see, our problem is, whoops, I don't want that one there because that one's too close to the wall. Yeah, we need to pull that out a bit. Just going to pull that one back a bit. What's your guys' problem? Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. Okay. And where do we go? We want it right there, just so it's exactly offset. And I don't think it's gonna fit. Yeah, see, we can only get three sets in here. So, what does that mean for us? Well, it means that I'm probably gonna put this back set here, kind of doing a backwards thing. Kind of like this. We could fit it down this part here. The issue is that actually that isn't too bad of a plan. I'm just wondering how many we can get in here. If we do 1 like that, 2 like that. Oh, you know what? Actually, hold it. Stop everything. Maybe we'll only get 19 in just because of this, and that will be okay. You can see we've already got 2 off of here. So oh, did we not? We did set the stack override, so why are you not working? What happened? We got 40. Alright, let's check our logic. Make sure everything's working right. We did put our 238 in there, right? Where did our 238 go? Our 238 disappeared. Did we not put our 238 in? I thought we did. Alright, let's make sure that 238's not vanishing somehow. I'm just like, what happened to the 238? Alright, that should be working. This should be sitting here. It seemed to be on the second pass it disappeared, so I'm not quite sure what went on there. But maybe I clicked something I didn't mean to. Let's keep our eye on that. But it looks like we already got a couple out of here, so something's working. Okay, I just want to keep our eye on that for a sec. Back to this. Let's just quickly give an eyeball to this. So if we can squeeze 1 like this, and then another one like that, we could be as close as there being pulling off the same line, which means I get 19 in, and I can use this to pull the 238 out with the 235 at the bottom here. I'd rather have 20. But maybe we'll go 19 to start, and maybe I'll figure a way of squeezing an extra one in somewhere. Okay, so that's the plan. We're going to go 19 just because, well, bad planning. I mean, we could push this down and get 20 in here. I mean, we could force this down here. Then maybe that'll be something we do later just to finish it up and give ourselves the 20 we really want. But let's go back here. You can see this thing's offloading right now. It's got 40. There goes the 41. See, the 1 popped over there. The 1 went over. And there goes the 40 out the other side. And then this 1 Kovarium will move its way around the system while that's replenishing, and we'll just keep doing that over and over again. It's just basically that simple. Now, here's the one thing. I often, when I do these copies, forget to put in the 238, and maybe I did that time as well. I really had thought I'd put it in there, but let's make sure we get the 238 in the first box, because if we don't, things don't work right, as we just found out. So let's just grab there and put 1 in there, and you can have 1, and 1 for you, and make sure we put it in the right box as well. Okay, so I think everybody's got it in the right box. Okay, so all it becomes now is a case of us coming down here and just going, give me all your 235 for right now, and eventually what will happen is we're going to have to figure out, we're going to work in how this 235 gets fed back here, because of course we just stole all our nuclear fuel. But basically it becomes a very simple process of us just grabbing these and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 40. And putting 40 in there. And 40 in there. And do we have any more left? 33. I got 2 here. Just not enough. We need 5 more. Alright, but what we can do is, in the meantime, we can just run this line right along like this. And we can at least take it to there. And we'll just let those lines backlog, and they'll stick out some 2, 3, 5. So what I often find is when I'm first setting this up, I just kind of let things do whatever they're going to do. The one thing that I'm not happy with is all this 2, 3, 8 coming down here. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to start putting some logic on here. And speaking of things, why have we not been learning anything? We've been letting that flash like crazy. We could put our logistical system online, I guess. I'm not sure I want to, though. Let's get some... No, we don't need gun turret. We need laser turret damage. Let's do that instead. Okay, so we got that coming along very nicely. So what we're going to do to stop this 2, 3, 8 from shooting down here is we're going to grab a different color logic wire here. Get some green logic wire. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some counters on here just to count the amount of 2, 3, 8 in each of these lines. And we'll just have to keep modifying it based on the number of these that we have online here. So just bear with us while we get some. There we go. We got some now. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a line from there to there. And this will become a read and hold belt. And you can see right now we got 4 there. And we're going to basically just do that all the way down here. It would be nice to have it as part of our blueprint. And eventually we will do that. Whoops, I didn't want you to do that because you're going to double count. And this guy here will eventually have to have it. And then we just connect all these lines right here like this. I recognize we've got this one over here as well, but we're just not going to connect him quite yet. So right now we only have 4 of these on line. So if each of those 4, we should have 16 in there. If we've done it right. Oh, we haven't set these all up as reads, so we just got to run down and do that. And we should have 16. And there's our 16. So now what we can do is we can actually say to this little box here, as long as the 2, 3, 8, if it's less than 16, feed me some more down, and then it'll just feed it down until one of those, whatever one is short, gets picked up. Now theoretically it should always be this one that gets short first, so it should fill it back up first, and the reason for that is because as this one offloads its 2, this one will pick up its 2, and it'll offload 2, and this one will pick, and so it sort of feeds that 2 all the way down. We're just going to do this. I'm just going to come along here and clean that up. Okay, so we're getting close. We just need 1 more, and we're going to have the 40, and we can set up the last guy. And why didn't you set out a... Oh, here it comes. He's going to do his 40 first, and he'll kick it across. There we go. And we can just pick up that guy right there, and there's our 40th. And we can put this one online, and we can do the same counter. And we're going to do this for this line, and then we'll just keep adding on 4 for every time we add a centrifuge on. We're just going to do more and more of it. And then what we're going to do is once we get this line way over to here, we're going to feed it back down here, and we're going to tie it all back in here somehow. So I'm probably going to have to bring the 235 back in here and feed it back over to this 235 line. Still not quite sure what I'm doing with this 238 line. We kind of had this sitting here from a long time ago. I'm still kind of figuring it all out because we got to get the recycling up and running and that kind of stuff. So a little bit more work there, but this is basically what our centrifuge will look like for our enrichment process, and we're going to just keep working on it. I think right now we've got, well, I got 40 on me right now, but those are going to go into the system. So basically we don't really have any 235 right now. We will have 235 once we start sort of cycling this back into the system, but I'll finish that up and clean it up next time. I just want to make sure we don't get too much 238 back into this part here, and I want to make sure we don't get 238 back with the 235. So what we're going to have to do is filter off the 238 and feed it back into here somehow. So I'm sort of still thinking, what I'll do is send it to the end. It will split off the 235 one way, the 238 the other way. We'll loop the 238 back into the top here. We'll bring the 235 back in and get it nicely fed down to the fuel, and then have it also split off to here like we had it originally, so that it would go off towards the nuclear power, the nuclear weapons and those types of things. So we can see 1.5 coming down. That's from our old process. Okay, so yeah, I'll do that while we're offline. We'll get it all cleaned up, maybe even get it paved for us. I think I've got a little bit of, I got some concrete on my vehicle here that your bots can get crazy with, and we'll do a little paving and get that done as well. So yeah, this is all about the enrichment process, and I know that logic's a little bit goofy, so hopefully I explained it well. I'm sure that you can do this with logic counters and holding figures and stuff. I've just never really had a lot of luck holding figures with the logistical networks. So I find sometimes if I just use a box, I can use it to cheat and count to 1 or 2 or 3, depending on a number that I might need. So it's just a little cheat I have. Anyways, thank you for joining me. This has been episode 26. I am Nerd Dad, and I am